Hey crypto friends, for those of you who are new to the channel, my name is Garrett and I am a crypto day trader whose overall goal here with my channel is to simply help other traders in the most simplistic ways as possible. So in today's educational video, I'm going to be sharing my own method for shorting the crypto market, specifically on the 1 hour charts. And for those of you who love trading crypto and would like to try out the same exchange that I use on a daily basis, feel free to go ahead and try out the Blowfin exchange here with the link in the description down below this video. I personally love this exchange because they allow anybody from anywhere to be able to sign up and trade crypto futures. So if you are like me and you are from the United States and you want to trade crypto futures, you can do it right here on the Blowfin exchange. All right, guys, now before I go ahead and actually dive into this video, first off, everyone trades differently since we all have different personalities, different goals, and different mindsets. So if this strategy does not end up working out for you, it is not because you suck at trading or anything. It's simply because your personality is different and the way that you look at things on a chart is different overall from other people, all right? And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just it's just how humanity works, all right? So the first thing that you want to go ahead and do is, obviously, as you can see right here, I've got my chart open here on the daily chart on Solana. I choose Solana because I trade Solana on a regular basis. I trade Solana all the time, simply because there's always simply because there is always a very, very large amount of daily volume running through Solana on a daily basis. Therefore, price action is constantly moving throughout the day on any given day, all right? So the very first thing that I want you guys to do, or that you can do here, is you want to go ahead and mark out your support and resistance levels on 1 or 2 time frames above the time frame that you are trading on. So since I am trading the 1 hour chart here, instead of marking my support and resistance zones on the 4 hour chart, I'm doing it on the daily chart here, okay? Simply because when you mark out support and resistance levels on larger time frames, they tend to be more accurate and they tend to be respected more often than when you mark out your support and resistance levels on lower time frames, okay? So that is the overall reason why we're doing it here on the daily chart instead of the 4 hour chart, okay? So now the next thing that you want to do is you want to go ahead and move to the time frame that you are trading on, all right? So now that you have got the time frame open that you will be trading on, which is the 1 hour chart, as you guys can clearly see right here, these levels have been respected quite a bit, just even based on the 1 hour chart as well. As you guys can clearly see here, price action ended up, let's see here, from this support area right in here, you can clearly tell that price action kind of went through and went sideways for a while, pretty much on that level right in there. But eventually it did end up crossing it with pretty decent momentum and ended up going higher. And we created this new resistance area right up in here at this area. But then we ended up coming back down, and we can clearly tell that we went right down to this support area once again, which is that same area where we went sideways on for a while. So that tells us that, okay, there's a decent amount of support down in there. But we did end up going below it even further a little bit and started to lose all kinds of momentum. But we ended up gaining that momentum back, crossing back over over above that support layer right there and going back up towards this resistance area that we created back in here. And you can clearly see that right in there. But obviously momentum wasn't strong enough to be able to go even higher, so it ended up dropping back down, and here we are back down at the support level once again, all right? So this is kind of overall what I do when I am overall looking at, when I'm kind of doing my own charting and looking for potential trades, is I do a lot of back testing, and I try to read what the market has been doing within the past week or so, to kind of gauge the overall momentum and kind of gauge overall what the overall market is doing, okay? And as you guys can clearly tell also, is when price action is bullish, the price action will be on top of the moving average, on top of the 7 SMA that I've got right in here. And when price action is bearish, it's obviously beneath the 7 SMA right here, okay? So realistically, what I would do here is, now since we are on the 1 hour chart, now the next thing that I will be doing here is I will be looking for local levels of support and resistance here, okay? And I will make them a different color as well. So overall here, with local support and resistance, what I'm doing here is I'm looking for the most recent high, which would be right in there. So I'll go ahead and make this one a different color just to kind of differentiate it from my macro support and resistance levels. So we've got one right there, and we've got one right in here too, obviously, which obviously since it's already, since it's already marked out, I'm not going to go ahead and mark it again. So we got that resistance level right there, and technically we have got a smaller one right in here as well. So here's what I would be doing here, okay? The first thing that I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be looking for, obviously you can see price action starting to go beneath the moving average here, all right? So what I would be looking for here right now at this point in time that I'm looking at this right now, I'm going to be looking for a potential short, but my confirmation is going to be one, if we end up crossing below this support level with momentum, all right? And you can tell if it's going to cross it with momentum just based on the sheer size of the candle alone, all right? Which obviously you can clearly tell right here, for instance. I mean, that's a very, very large candle. That tells you that overall, there's a lot of momentum to the downside. And as you can clearly tell, we ended up going even down even much further and much further again, all right? So when you see big candles like that, that tells you the overall momentum of things that's going on, okay? So now beneath this layer right here, we can also find local support right down in here as well, all right? So what I will be doing here, we'll go ahead and mark this one too, might as well. So what I will be doing here is if price action ends up crossing, or if price action ends up closing one, beneath this moving average right here, and two, beneath this support level right here, I'm going to be opening up a potential short position, and I am going to place my stop loss at wherever the moving average currently is at that point in time, all right? So let's say price action ended up coming beneath this support level right down in here, and it ended up closing right in here. And you entered the trade, and it ended up going down to this layer right here, all right? So that's only about 0.97%, which is probably about, we're just going to call it 1% with 10x leverage. That's about a 10% profit here that you would have made within, 1 or 2 hours, all right? To make 10% within 1 to 2 hours, that is pretty damn good for the crypto, or for, for any market realistically. I mean, people in the TradFi markets, people in the TradFi markets, I mean, they struggle to make 10% a day, all right? So that is pretty good profit to make in a single day, especially within just a few hours, okay? But when you are at this level, you basically have two options, all right? Once it's at this level, you can either take partial profit or you can take full profit. If you take partial profit because you think it could possibly go even lower, then you want to realistically take just partial profit right there, and you want to wait and see if the next candle ends up opening up either green and going back upwards towards this area right up in here, or if it continues going lower, all right? Now, if it does continue to go lower, then you will make an extra, let's see here, you'd probably make an extra roughly around 20% with 10x leverage right there. So overall, within probably 2 or 3 or maybe even possibly 4 hours of trading right there, you could have potentially made roughly about 30% profit, give or take, right in there, all right? So that's kind of overall how I go ahead and personally gauge the overall market with just using this single moving average right here, which, by the way, is the 7-period SMA. And the way that you find that is you go to indicators and you type in moving average simple, and it's right here, and it's going to be set to, the default settings are going to be set to, I think, 9 or 14 or something like that. You just want to use the arrows down here and move it up to 7, all right? Now, that's overall how you go ahead and use that, and that's typically how I short the market on pretty much any time frame, to be brutally honest with you. Just to give another example here real quick, I'll go ahead and move this to, let's see here, we'll go ahead and go to the 4-hour chart, okay? It's the same thing on the 4-hour chart. As you can clearly see, price action ended up going up to this, price action ended up going up to the moving average here, but it didn't end up going higher than the moving average, all right? That tells me, so that's technically a rejection right there. That tells me that momentum is still pretty weak, and we could potentially end up going further to the downside, all right? So I'm gonna go ahead and mark out a local level of support down here. So we've got our local level of support down here, and if I ended up shorting it, so if price action ends up coming beneath this moving average, beneath this support level right here, and ends up closing below it, I'm going to enter a short position, all right? And if I do end up entering a short position right there, so probably like right in here, riding all the way down, right there, again, that is your, let's see here, 2.78% profit. With 10x leverage, that's about 28% profit, give or take right there. All right. So overall, it's really not hard to gauge how to short the market. You just got to know what to look for, and you got to have the right tools at your disposal that work best for you. All right. Again, like I was saying in the video, not every trading strategy is going to work for every single person, simply because we all have different trading mindsets, we all have different personalities, and we all have different goals as far as what we want to do with our overall trading. But realistically, this this strategy does work. This is one of the strategies that I personally use on a daily basis, and I've been using this strategy on a daily basis for a very long time now. And it's just technically my preferred strategy that I like to use. All right. As you can clearly tell, I don't have a chart full of indicators all over the place. I typically just use price action, which is support and resistance, candlestick patterns, stuff like that, coupled with this moving average here. And that's basically all I need realistically. So if it works for me, and there's people out there who do have the same trading mindset as me and same, the same way that I look at charts, it could potentially work for you. Okay. Now, overall here, guys, if you guys have any questions, feel free to go ahead and reach out to me on my Twitter profile here at Garrett_N_stuff. I'm free to answer questions. I love helping people. So if you got questions, don't be scared to ask. All right. But before I go ahead and wrap up this video, if you guys enjoyed this one and you got some decent value out of it, be sure to go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit the like button below the video, and leave me a comment below on your personal thoughts of what you thought of this video. And with that said, for those of you guys who stuck around and watched this entire video throughout the whole thing, thank you guys very much. I appreciate all of you, and I hope to see you all in my future videos as well.